So I have a really cool message from the Octarians about how little moments in your life might actually be big moments, and how synchronicities and out of the blue things that pop up in your reality, or maybe even deja vu experiences, might actually be energetically connected at the time with something a little higher than what you might think, and the purpose of that situation happening. So stay tuned and I will explain to you what I mean by all that. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I'm your soul alignment mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So, have you ever thought about how random things might happen here and there, or like out of the blue chance connections, or running into people, or deja vu, like all these weird things that might happen in our life? I've been having some interesting insight recently about little tiny things in our life actually being big things. And I want to talk about just one of those things that the Octarians told me about in this episode. And if you haven't seen some of my other episodes where I actually am sharing with you the exact message that they gave me, I'm going to go ahead and read to you what they said to me because I have it written down. And I think this will bring some insight on a few things in your life. It really helped open my eyes to something. So I'm going to read this and then I will go into explaining what this means and what they were saying to us through this. So the whole message is talking about the concept of soulmates, or people in your life that come into your life and maybe stay or go, or just random encounters. And the first part of this just talks about synchronicities and how you're being led by your spirit and you really probably don't even realize that you are. So this is what they said. Many things that you may think of as random are actually synchronized energies guiding you to the right place and the right time. For example, say one morning you wake up and you have a rare random thought. I want to go to that coffee shop today. So you go, you sit down, and unexpectedly run into an old friend. You chat briefly, and you may have a very small, insignificant event in the grand scheme of things and have a conversation that doesn't seem like it has that much of an impact or deal. And however, from the perspective of us, so the Octarians speaking from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, there is always an energetic exchange in these interactions. Either you are helping that person in their energy, or they are helping you, or it could be both. There is a frequency and a purpose for the encounter and a reason why it occurs precisely at that moment. Sometimes something small in that exchange, perhaps something said or done, could shift the other person's frequency, opening them up to a new thought or realization they hadn't considered before the interaction. This is how synchronicities work. Those moments that seem to happen out of the blue, or the feeling of deja vu you may experience, are signs that you are in the flow, constantly being led to places where these brief yet impactful exchanges can occur. Often, these interactions are with people you've shared some type of connection with before. Not necessarily someone you see daily or even regularly, but someone whose energy you have interacted with here and there. These small exchanges help each of you to ascend in frequency, although you may not see the physical impact immediately from that event. You'll remember these moments more clearly when you return to your energetic self and look back and understand the true purpose of these small little interactions. Now, they go on to clarify the deeper soulmate connections, and I'm going to share that in a different episode. But for the sake of this one, I want to just talk about these really small, random interactions that we have. And this just happened to me earlier this week. I actually woke up, and I think this is why they were explaining this to me and for me to share with you. I woke up and I thought, I would really like to go have coffee somewhere and maybe work in a coffee shop for a few hours. So I got my computer, I got my stuff, and I drove to a different coffee shop that I don't normally go to, which for some reason I felt compelled to do. And while I'm sitting there working, I look over and I see a friend that I have not seen in a very long time. So I ended up texting her and saying hi, and we ended up having a very small exchange where we talked probably for 5 minutes or less. It was just a, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing well. What's going on with you? A little brief conversation. And then it ended. And to me, it just seemed like, oh, I got to see my friend. I got to give her a hug. It was a nice little exchange that we had for a very short moment. But then listening to what the Octarians have shared with me, that maybe had done a little bit more for us than what we thought. There's a possibility that there was something I said to her in that moment, or she could have said to me, that could help me or her to begin to shift in our ability to see things, or maybe help us to exchange energetic connections to enhance our frequency to better connect with our soul purpose, or to heal something, or to see something in our life a little bit more clear that we couldn't see prior to that exchange. And so, what they're saying here is even those little tiny insignificant things that come up in your life where you suddenly feel compelled to do something, or you have a intuitive hit to try something or talk to someone or go somewhere, all have significance in them. And we really should not ignore those moments, especially if you're having a deja vu moment. That means that there's an energetic exchange happening where that was predestined to happen, and it's possible that that interchange, the energy interchanged in that moment, could be happening in another realm in a different frequency. So you could be experiencing maybe a parallel life in that moment as well. And so the exchanges that we have with one another impacts us more than what we think. And so, this is also why it's important to pay attention to your energy and your boundaries and understand what interactions you have. If you feel something in your gut saying, don't do this, or don't go to this place, or don't interact with this person anymore, then we need to listen to that as well. Because there's an energetic exchange that happens between you and another person when you're interacting with them. And if you're not in a place where you're able to protect yourself energetically, then our spirit guides, our higher self, will put us in a position where we won't feel comfortable in a certain situation or place. And so we need to listen to that, and we need to respect the boundary that has been set with our higher self. But if we do feel something coming up and we feel like we're being compelled to do something, this is when we need to listen. We need to follow through on what our higher self is guiding us to do, even if it seems very small and simple, and see what comes of it. And like they said, we may not have any idea about what happened in that small exchange until one day later on we'll have some kind of memory that pops up about that, or even when we have gone through our human life and we're back into our spirit and we're going through our life review, and then that moment pops up that we thought was totally insignificant in our life, and it could have been the one thing that shifted our consciousness or shifted our life into a different timeline or a direction in that very small exchange and moment. I know that for me in that moment, as I was talking to my friend, I was talking about all the spiritual growth I've had, all of the um, new things I've been taking on, the leap of faith that I've taken, and And I know that it impacted her because I saw it on her face. Now, I don't know what she will do with that information. I don't know if there will be some kind of inspired action for her to continue to reach towards her goals and continue to go after something that she wants to go after. But I do know that in that moment, there was some type of energetic exchange that both filled me and her at the same time, even though it was very brief. So I want to encourage you to know that even when you think that you're not important, even when you think something's really insignificant, even when you think you've said something or you're talking about something positive in your life, and us humans have this tendency to think that we should hide positive things. Don't do it. You don't know how that will impact somebody else or how it will encourage them. And it will encourage the right people. The small interactions you have do matter, whether that's with the clerk at the grocery store and saying hi and asking how they are, or with a friend that you randomly run into in a coffee shop. Those interactions all have an energetic exchange, and it's okay to allow yourself to feel that exchange and use it for something in your life. I don't know exactly what will come of that exchange, but clearly Spirit is showing me that that happened for a reason. There was some reason I woke up that morning and thought, I'm going to go to this coffee shop, and they just happened to be there at the same time. So start paying attention to see if these things come up in your life, and let me know in a comment below if you've ever had that experience. And I would be curious how many of us have had those kind of synchronicities. If there's any other questions or anything that you would like me to ask my spirit team or the Octarians about, I'm happy to do that. If you're interested in joining my live channelings that I do once a month over Zoom, you're welcome to do that. It's only $25 to join that membership, and then you can come and talk to the Octarians yourself and ask your questions directly. So until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.